How cocky are you? Now, this may seem like a weird topic coming from yours truly, but it is one of the truest things when it comes to our fitness and nutrition. And in fact, it's one of the biggest topics that comes up on initial calls with new clients. Now, what I mean by how cocky are you is not like, I'm the best. Oh, yeah. It's that we get started on a plan, whatever plan it is, our plan, somebody else's plan, whatever the plan is, you start on the plan. And the moment that we begin to have success, meaning the moment we lose 5 pounds, the moment our clothes start fitting, the moment our bloat goes down, the moment we start feeling good, there's this crossroads that we come upon. Now, some people will continue on because they understand that the journey has only just begun. Other people will say, I can have a glass of wine now. Look how good I'm doing. I can have that whatever, fill in the blank. Now, I want you to identify really quick because there's really only 2 ways that we can go from here, right? We don't just give up. We either say one of those 2 things, right? Like, I'm doing great, I'm going to keep going. Or the other way is like, I'm doing amazing. I can have whatever I want to have now. I can go off the wagon. I can have a little bit more leniency. Now, obviously, when I explain it to you in this way, it seems like a big fat lie, and it is, right? We can't just go back to what we were doing because we're going to end up back where we were. We have to continue the journey. And I think that crossroads, there's a mindset shift that we have to make. Now, I've been at that crossroad many times before. So many times, guys, I'm like, I fit in my clothes now. I'm good. I can get the dress on. Like, I can do whatever I want now. And I would go, and it was almost like showing off to other people. Like, I would show up at the family gathering or the work party, whatever it was. And I'd be like, look, like, I want everybody to see that, like, I'm drinking whatever I want to drink and I'm eating whatever I want to eat, and I still have results. Now, that's totally ridiculous. Now, whether for you it's more of an intrinsic thing where it's like, see, I can treat myself now, or it's more of an extrinsic thing where you're like, look, everybody, I can eat whatever I want and I can still achieve my goals. It's garbage. Whichever way you look at it, it's trash. And we have to ditch that mindset. Now, if I had to actually be honest and tell you the number of times I stood at that crossroad, I'm not even sure if I could count the number of times. But the thing that finally took me down that other path where I was like, no, this is a journey. I have to keep going. There were 2 things that shifted. The first was I had a really strong why. For me, I was getting on a bodybuilding stage, and the pain of embarrassment that I would experience if I got on the bodybuilding stage out of shape or fat, let's just be honest, it would feel pretty terrible, especially because I had announced to others of what I was doing. The second thing that I had was a end date. It was a finite date of when the show was. They weren't going to move a bodybuilding show for me. It's kind of like a wedding or a vacation. Nobody's going to change the date for you. So the 2 pieces that are essential in order to move beyond that crossroads are a strong why and a goal, like an actual date, an actual end time, not just one that you make up, but something that you're actually working on or toward. Now, you may be saying, well, I don't have a wedding, or I don't have a vacation, or I can't travel right now. Okay, so let's figure out something else. Everything is figure outable, right? Marie Forleo. Why don't we then plan something? Why don't you put a date in your calendar that says on this date of, let's say, February 1st of 2022, I am going to wear my little black dress, or for your gentlemen, whatever amazing outfit you'd like to wear, and I'm going to take myself out to dinner. Right? It doesn't have to be about anybody else. Or I'm going to go out with a really good friend, or I'm going to go out with my partner or spouse. We can set those dates for ourselves. And as soon as we either include somebody else in that plan or ask somebody else to help us be accountable to it, it's a date that we can't miss. So unless you have those 2 things, guess what's always going to happen when you reach those crossroads? You're going to get a little bit of result and you're like, I can just be a little cocky here. Everybody does it. And if you're sitting here being like, well, I don't really do that, I would think that that's garbage. Sorry, love you, you know that. But we all experience that, where we think we can do it our own way, go off the wagon. And I really believe that that comes back to us putting into our minds that this is not a diet, a program, a temporary. We are actually building a lifestyle. Now, initially, we need the why and we need the date, but long term, we need to understand that this is just the way we eat. It becomes part of our identity, part of who we are. This is the way I eat. I am a person that will not eat McDonald's fries. I just won't do it. What are the things that you can identify with that you are or you aren't, or you will do or you won't do, to help you understand or make your brain understand that this is the way it is. This is the person that you are. This is the way that I eat. This is not a temporary quick fix. This is the rest of my life. Now, that moment for me didn't happen right away. I did the bodybuilding show. I gained the weight back up. Then I did another bodybuilding show and I lost the weight again. And it was this yucky, like up, down, up, down. And that feels gross to do that. Nobody likes to do that. And quite frankly, it's not good for us from a biological standpoint. We don't want to do that to the fat cells in our bodies, okay? Or our skin, right? Stretch marks, hello. So how do we go beyond that? For me, it was that realization that I did a visualization. I did some NLP, that's neuro-linguistic programming, and really saw what my future would look like if I didn't take action and be consistent with that action. Now, some of you, again, may be sitting there saying, well, you get to live with Mike. That makes it so much easier. No, that makes it so much harder. It makes it a lot harder because there's a certain amount of pressure, healthy pressure, right? He doesn't sit there and judge me by any stretch of the imagination. And just in case you're wondering, he doesn't judge you either. He just is very disciplined in the way that he eats. And so for me, I had to say, okay, if I take this path of continuing this, where am I going to be in 10 years? And I had this beautiful vision of he and I on a beach somewhere renewing our wedding vows. And I'm like, that is what I want. And when I thought about where I would end up if I continued with my crappy habits, I was like, I'm probably going to end up alone with, myself. And that doesn't sound very good. And I have this very clear imagery, that very clear visualization in my mind that enables me every single day, guys, to be like, which life do I want? Because it's constantly a choice. You don't just get on the track and you're like, all right, autopilot, I'm good. My Tesla's going to drive from here on out. It's a choice every day. It's a choice every moment. It's a choice all the time, but you're in control. You're in charge. So don't allow yourself to get cocky on yourself. Don't allow yourself to say, oh, I can go back to that. Why would you want to go backwards when you've already come forwards? Why would you want to backstep when you've taken so many steps ahead? Why would you want to do that to yourself? And that's what we really have to consider when we're making those decisions and choices, and to absolutely positively take extreme ownership of all of them and own them. So what I want to know is, what is your why? You can drop them in the comments. And what is the date that you must achieve it by? Drop that for me. Can't wait to hear what it is. Sending you guys love and light, and we will see you tomorrow. Ciao.